this evening. First, the Ghana Police Force is investigating the shooting death of a 26-year-old man in Cummins Lodge after an alleged exchange of gunfire with officers. Got the latest on this development story. Next, Minister of Public Works Bishop One Edgehill announces new traffic measures restricting heavy vehicles on residential streets. Find out how these changes aim to improve safety and reduce disruptions in your neighborhood. Then, a major drug bust in Georgetown sees 2 Ghana Defense Force soldiers arrested with over 300 pounds of cannabis. Hear about the ongoing investigation and its impact on the fight against narcotics trafficking. Also, 56 families in Region 3 celebrate receiving land titles, granting them legal ownership and the promise of a better tomorrow. Discover how this initiative aims to transform lives and communities. And finally, incumbent Nicolas Maduro has been declared the winner of Venezuela's presidential election, but the opposition is gearing up to dispute the results. Stay tuned for more on this contentious election. These stories and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 29, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, police are investigating the shooting death of Gordon Sanko, a 26-year-old unemployed man from Goodfoactin Squatting Area, East Coast of Demerara. The incident occurred around 12:30 a.m. on Sunday at Seafield Cummins Lodge. Officers from the Albert Town Police Station were on patrol when they responded to a report made by a 15-year-old student and her 34-year-old mother, a security guard, about the discharge of a firearm with intent. Upon seeing the police, Sanko allegedly pulled out a handgun and fired 2 shots at the officers, prompting them to take cover. One officer returned fire, hitting Sanko, who then ran a short distance before collapsing. A pistol and 3 live rounds of ammunition were found next to Sanko. He was immediately taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead while receiving medical treatment. Sanko's body is currently at GPHC mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. An investigation is ongoing into the incident. On a different note, 2 Ghana Defense Force members were arrested on Mandela Avenue with over 300 pounds of cannabis during a police operation. Dale Jarvis has more details.
2 members of the Guyana Defense Force were apprehended on Mandela Avenue near Space Gym with over 300 pounds of cannabis during a police intelligence-led operation on Saturday, July 27, 2024. The operation took place at around 9:20 p.m. behind the Botanical Garden by Special Branch officers and other ranks. Acting on received intelligence, the officers intercepted a Route 42 motor bus driven by 40-year-old Corporal Edward McCalmont of Camp Iron Ghana, with 24-year-old Lance Corporal John Johnson of Base Camp Stevenson as the front passenger. Both soldiers, dressed in uniform, were stopped based on intelligence suggesting their involvement in narcotics trafficking. Upon searching the vehicle, police found 49 large parcels containing leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis. The soldiers were informed of the charges, arrested and taken to the East Lepentance police station, along with the bus and the seized cannabis, which weighed 316 pounds. This latest bust comes on the heels of a similar operation last week, in which 2 other GDF soldiers were caught with 154 pounds of cannabis and are now on remand. The current detainees remain in custody as investigations continue. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Minister of Public Works Bishop One Edgehill has announced new measures to restrict trucks, articulated and heavy-laden vehicles from using narrow residential streets. This decision was made during a meeting with councillors and residents of Lamaha Gardens to address traffic disruptions. Signs indicating the restrictions and reduced speed limits will be installed in collaboration with the Ghana Police Force. The regulations will be officially gazetted soon. However, Minister Edgehill was quick to reject the suggestion to restrict access for residents of Sophia through Dennis, Garnet, and Duncan streets. He deemed it unreasonable and offensive, emphasizing that such stigmatization of a community is unacceptable. The Ghana Police Force will patrol the restricted areas to ensure compliance, and truck operators are urged to avoid using residential streets to bypass traffic lights. The effectiveness of these measures will be reviewed within a month. The Public Works Minister also stated that the Conversation Tree Road project is progressing well, with works advancing towards Cherry Street. Stick around on return. Wanted murder suspect apprehended in Georgetown, and 56 Region 3 families receive land titles.
girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Grove Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health will host an eye care outreach event in Parika, Region 3 on Wednesday, July 31st. The event will run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., featuring several eye care providers conducting comprehensive eye examinations. If you are under 18 or older than 65, you don't want to miss this opportunity to access your vouchers and get your eyes tested. This initiative aims to ensure that residents can access essential eye care services. Take advantage of this chance to get your eyes tested and receive the necessary support. Moving on, police on mobile patrol duties in Georgetown successfully apprehended Crazy Jamal Craig, a wanted murder suspect near the Pegasus Hotel on the Seawalls on Friday, July 26. Police stopped a black Allion motor car around 10:30 p.m. driven by Craig, a 36-year-old supervisor from West Rijnveld Housing Scheme. Craig is wanted in connection with the murder of Dexter Hersham, which took place on August 11, 2023 in West Rijnveld. Craig's reputed wife was also in the vehicle at the time. After informing Craig of his wanted status, he was instructed to drive to the Rijnveld police station with his wife and a police officer in the car, followed by 2 officers on motorcycles. Upon reaching the station, Craig made a sudden turn and sped off into Yarrow Dam, prompting a chase. He eventually abandoned the car, fleeing on foot and jumping several fences before leaping into a nearby trench. A police officer, however, fired 1 round, hitting Craig in the buttocks. Craig was apprehended, taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, and was admitted under police guard. In other news, 56 families in Region 3 have received certificates of title granting them legal ownership of their lands. At the ceremony on Sunday morning, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan emphasized the significance of legal land possession, highlighting its potential to secure loans, improve homes, expand businesses, and build family prosperity. Barnwell, Good Hope, Philadelphia, and the William beneficiaries attended the event. President Ali reaffirmed the government's dedication to fulfilling its promises to Region 3 residents, noting similar initiatives are being planned for Greenwich Park North, Anna Katerina Seawall, and the Acme Housing Scheme. The government aims to provide proper infrastructure, drainage, electricity, and water access to enhance citizens' quality of life. Beneficiaries expressed gratitude, with one recipient noting that she had waited 32 years for her title. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell and Minister within the Ministry of Public Works Deodat Indar also delivered remarks emphasizing the long-term benefits of land ownership. Don't go away after the break. Peru protests, demonstrations in Lima on Independence Day, and Putin warns US of Cold War-style crisis if missiles deployed to Germany.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. 3 Russian warships arrived in Havana, Cuba, reflecting deepening Russia-Cuba ties. The naval group, including a training ship, patrol frigate, and refueling tanker, will stay until July 30th. This follows a recent visit by another Russian squadron, seen as a symbolic show of strength amid U.S. support for Ukraine. Cuban officials described the visit as a historical practice and friendship and collaboration. The public eagerly welcomed the ships, with authorities allowing visits aboard the Russian training ship. Meanwhile, incumbent Nicolas Maduro has been declared the winner of Sunday's presidential election, but the opposition said they were preparing to dispute the results. Al Jazeera's Alexandra Rampietti reports.
6 hours after polls closed, Venezuela's Electoral Council, controlled by government loyalists, announced that Nicolás Maduro had won a third term as president.
Con el 80%.
With 80% of the ballots counted and with the level of participation at 59%, the results are as follows. First, Nicolás Maduro Moras of the Gran Polo Patriótico got 51.2%. Candidate Mundo González of the Mesa de la Unidad got 44.2% of votes.
A triumphant Maduro said his victory was undeniable, blaming the delay on an unspecified cyber attack from abroad and calling on the people and the international community to respect the result.
I can say before the people of Venezuela and the world, I am Nicolas Maduro Moros, re-elected President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and I will defend our democracy, our law, and our people.
The opposition, led by presidential candidate Edmundo González and political powerhouse Maria Corina Machado, denounced the result, claiming they had won 70% of the vote. They accused the government of withholding voting data to hamper their ability to challenge the result.
In other words, this is not just another fraud. This is a gross disregard and violation of the people's sovereignty. There is no other way they can explain and justify this.
For the first time, the opposition had managed to unite behind a single candidate and gain ground over Maduro, with polls predicting an overwhelming victory. Millions of Venezuelans queued for hours to cast their vote on Sunday in what seemed like the largest turnout in decades. Staunch allies such as Cuba and Bolivia quickly congratulated Maduro, while other leftist leaders like Chilean President Gabriel Boric said he will not recognize any result that is not verifiable. Almost 8 million Venezuelans fled the economic and humanitarian crisis in the country in the last decade. Some living in Mexico cried in disbelief when Maduro's victory was announced.
We've fought against this dictatorship for 25 years. We demand the international community act. Today we want Venezuela to be free and respect the people's decision.
There's no doubt that these results came as a shock for millions of Venezuelans hoping to see political change. The biggest challenge for Maduro now will be how to govern a nation unlikely to see his election as fair and see him as their legitimate president. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
Also in South America, protesters have taken to the streets of Lima as Peru marks its Independence Day. They are demanding justice for those killed and injured during unrest in late 2022 following the ousting of former President Pedro Castillo. Al Jazeera's Mariana Sanchez reports.
President Dina Boluarte began Peru's Independence Day by blaming former President Pedro Castillo for the country's problems.
I received a paralyzed country due to the last government that caused the worst crisis of confidence in 50 years, a divided country immersed in a deep political crisis.
Boluarte said she plans to spend millions of dollars on mining, health, and many other infrastructure projects before leaving office in 2 years, but offered no message to the families of 49 Peruvians killed by the army and police in protests since she took office 18 months ago.
No one has been detained. No one is guilty. Nothing. There is no justice.
Boluarte spent 5 hours reciting her government's accomplishments, but she's the most unpopular leader in the Americas, with an approval rating below 5%. Congress is equally unpopular.
She doesn't represent us. She has a pact with Congress, many of them delinquents. She's publicly lied during the corruption investigations. This is a dictatorship.
84% of Peruvians want general elections now.
The harshest criticism against Boluarte came from Peru's most important religious authority. The Archbishop of Lima told Boluarte, her ministers, and other politicians that this is not a democratic society.
In his sermon, Archbishop Carlos Castillo directly took on Peru's political class.
Those who use and corrode the state by giving priority to their own interests live in institutional disloyalty.
Despite nationwide discontent, the streets remain mostly quiet, except for a few protesters who say they're not afraid of a police crackdown to quell dissent. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Lima.
And internationally, Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeated his warning against the planned deployment of U.S. nuclear missiles in Germany. He made the comment at the annual Navy Day parade in St. Petersburg. Al Jazeera's Yulia Shapovalova reports.
European capitals could become a target for Russian missiles. President Vladimir Putin's response to the United States announcing it will begin deploying long-range missiles in Germany for the first time since the Cold War.
Important Russian state and military objects, our administrative industrial centers, our defense infrastructure will fall within the missile's range. The flight time to targets on our territory for such missiles, which may potentially be equipped with nuclear warheads, will be about 10 minutes.
The US declared at a NATO summit in Washington earlier this month that it will begin deploying the missiles in 2026. A significant escalation in tensions following the ending of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, or INF, between the United States and Russia 5 years ago.
This situation recalls the events of the Cold War era associated with the deployment of American Pershing medium-range missiles in Europe. If the US implements such plans, we will consider ourselves free from the previously imposed one-sided moratorium on the deployment of our medium and short-range strike systems.
Russia had promised it would not restart production of such missiles as long as the United States did not deploy missiles abroad, a position that's now changed. Putin made his comments during an annual Navy Day parade in St. Petersburg, involving about 2,500 servicemen and about 30 vessels. Also taking part, warships from China, India and Algeria, demonstrating their military partnership. A show of force a month after Russia and North Korea signed a new defense pact, and the same day the United States military announced a strengthening of its military coordination with Japan to counter what it called the strategic challenge from China, backed by Moscow. Yulia Shapovalova, Al Jazeera, Moscow.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it for the 2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.